Alright, today what I want to talk about is how to go into a stall and catch a horse. First, most important thing I think is to have your halter prepared. I'm going to take my left arm and lay my lead rope over my left arm right about the joint of my elbow. I'm going to have my halter attachment or halter buckle laying on top of the crown piece that will actually go behind the horse's ears. And you'll see in just a minute why I do it that way. When I go to open the door, I'm going to slide the latch up. If for some reason the door is tight, I'll push in with my foot at the bottom of the door. I'm going to open the door completely. And in a situation like this, the horse butts to me because she's eating hay. I'm going to encourage her to turn her face to me before I step into that stall. So, see, she kind of moves her butt away when I encourage her there a little bit, turns her face up here towards me. So when I walk in to this stall, I'm going to ask this horse to move over so I can position myself here on the left side of this horse. To me, that's the most ideal way to put a halter or a bridle on a horse, is on the left side. Most of these school horses have been taught when you put your hand down between their ears and apply just a slight amount of pressure, they're to drop their head. And the reason I teach them that is so that whenever we go to halter or bridle them, we don't have to try to put the halter on a head that's way up in the air. So I'll use my right hand to just encourage that horse to lower their head a little bit, and then I'll slip the halter underneath the horse's neck and I'll catch the crown piece, the piece that's going to come back behind the horse's ears. Now my halter is basically opened up, and all I have to do is slip it up over the horse's nose. I want to make sure that my halter, when I put it on, is as far up as it needs to go on the horse's nose. The nose band needs to come up at least halfway between the edge of the nostril and the corner of the eye. If it's too low, it could possibly block the horse's airway. If it's too high, it could possibly make the horse uncomfortable and put pressure underneath their eye. This halter is not going to come up that high. I also want to make sure that my throat latch strap is in the throat latch area. It does not need to be underneath the chin or underneath the jaw there. It needs to be up in the throat latch. That's where it's designed to fit. Then we'll just go ahead and we'll buckle our halter. This particular halter on this particular horse fits all the way up into the last hole. It's not too tight because I can still slide my hands and my fingers all the way around there. It's not so loose that I could slide my whole hand or my arm underneath there. That's a real important thing as well, is making sure that it's not too loose, so if the horse, when they put their head down, it sags right here and they stick a foot in there, or they get hung on a fence or get hung on the stall or something of that nature. So I buckle my halter completely. I don't ever want to just do that, because all it takes is just a real easy catch of that tail of that crown piece, and that halter could just possibly come right off. So always buckle it completely. So we talked about putting the halter on and how to properly adjust it. Just real quickly, let's talk about how to take the halter off. Once again, most of these school horses here have been taught to, when you place your hand up here between their ears, they lower their head. I would much rather have a horse that does that than have to reach up and try to undo a halter with a horse's head way up in the air. And when I take that halter off, I'll unbuckle it, I'll slip it completely open, and then just let it fall and step away from the horse. That allows me to get out of the way if that horse is in a hurry to get to its grain or to its hay or something. Keeps me from getting knocked over or stepped on. Okay, one of the things that I want to talk about just real quickly is having too big of a halter on your horse. I see this a lot. People make this mistake, and it's an honest mistake, but this halter for this particular horse is way too big. And the reason I know that is it just slips right over her ears and could come off. Okay? And it was adjusted on the last hole, so that was as tight as it could possibly go. Another thing that you see on a halter that's too big is you've got a lot of room right down here in the throat latch area. And that could be an invitation for a hoof to get stuck in there if by some chance the horse put its head down and went to scratch with a leg or something.